Yesterday, I showed you my indoor composting situation. I've got a couple tubs that I'm starting to compost inside the garage. Since it's so cold in the middle of the night, I don't have a lot of material built up for an outside big compost pile. But I want to show you the plan. So my plan to move everything outside is to get that pile in the garage started. Even if it's started a little bit, then that's fine. And then I'm going to take this hillside up at the top of my property. See, there's the house down there. The yard that I cut and tend to. But up here, everything is mostly wild. You can see right here, you got a kid's toy. Everything in here I've started cutting back. My plan here, so if I can get that in the shot, this is basically all dead, dry grass that grew over the past 2 to 3 years that was never cut up here. I figure since we're kind of rural in the hills, it would be a nice fire break, cut all of this back, but also all of this stuff. Look at this. Let's see, where's the camera? There he is. All of this stuff is not fresh. It's only early April. It hasn't been growing. This is all old stuff that used to be green grass and now, or green weeds. Now it's just dry, brown carbon-based material. So in the spring, it's really easy to find nitrogen stuff. Grass clippings being the obvious choice for many people, and kitchen scraps being the other obvious choice. But browns are hard to find, and I've got this big pile, this huge pile, and then I got another small pile over there, and I've got a ton of hillside that I haven't even taken the string trimmer to yet. So the plan is to continue raking up all of the stuff off of the ground, all the dead, dry stuff that grew years ago, or at most recent last year. Get it all up into a pile, start moistening it up. Which actually, we had a lot of rain over the past week, rain and snow even, so that kind of got a little bit of this wet, but it dries out really quick when the sun comes out and the skies go completely blue. So that's the plan. All of this stuff, look at this. There's just tons of it. Now I understand a lot of this is weeds, but if I can get a huge pile, which should be easy to do if I cut down all of this stuff, get a nice mix of nitrogen and carbon-based stuff, the pile will generate 140, 150 degree heat for long enough to kill the vast majority of the weed seeds. So, I mean, look at this stuff right here. You got green coming up, but the majority of this stuff is old dry stuff. Perfect. Not only can I make this section of my property usable for me and the kids, but I can also turn all of that material into compost so that I can expand the garden. Now, I guess this is just dovetailing off of the composting video that I published yesterday from my garage. So the garage pile will probably come out here either later this week, maybe this weekend, if I can gather up enough of the dry stuff and put it all together into a nice big proper pile. Probably down at the bottom of the hill near our fence line, since it's out of the way, but pretty easy to get to. Also, you know, we bought this property for the view. If I put it at the bottom of the hill, we're just going to look right over the top of it. Barely even notice that it's there. That right there, it's not an enormous amount, but there's some greens in there. I understand that most of this looks brown, but when you rake out all of the actual browns, the old stuff from a couple years ago, everything that's left is the new growth in the bag. Most of it hasn't really changed color yet or started growing vigorously. But in another, I don't know, 1 to 4 weeks, this is going to look so green. And I don't have any irrigation up here. It's just the natural growth pattern of this climate. This is all natural brush and natural field grasses. This is the stuff that's been here for hundreds and thousands of years. So it will green up. This is the first growth of it. This first growth in the bag looks kind of brown, but it is all fresh stuff. So I'm going to call it green material for my compost. So I just filmed that video of me cutting. I figured I'd make the compost later this week, but then I figured, why wait? So I started moving my big pile of browns, basically old grass and weeds that I cut from up the hill. I'm going to slowly push it that way down the hill. I'm going to add some water to it with the green tops of the grass that I just cut off. Add a little water, add a little browns, give it a couple days, and then every couple days, I will move it about 5 feet down the hill. Got about 50 feet to get down to the fence line, down to the edge of our property. So I'm going to guess about, 7 to 10 days before 7 to 10 turns. So if I do it every other day, that'd be 14 to 20 days to get the whole pile all the way down to the fence line. And then we'll see where we're at right there. Just going to keep on turning it a lot. When you're composting mostly grasses, they compact quite a bit, so you really have to turn them frequently. So this is a perfect scenario. Just every couple days, I just turn the whole pile, move it about 5 feet down the hill till it gets down to the bottom. And hopefully at that point, it'll be a little bit more fluffy as it's been breaking down for about 2 to 3 weeks. So here we go. So this pile of browns is way too big to use the whole thing. I just don't have enough greens, nitrogen sources for the pile. So I'm going to wet the entire brown pile, all of the dead grass, dead weeds, all the old stuff, thatch that I pulled out of the ground. I'm going to wet it out super big so that it starts getting moist, staying moist for a few days down the road when I can add to the pile. I'm also going to add what I do have for the greens just a little bit lower and get it started. All right, so that's kind of unimpressive. My pile is tiny compared to my seed pile over here. So, I don't know. That's all I got for greens. Grass just isn't growing enough for me to get a lot of extra nitrogen material to stick in there. I got my stuff in the garage, but I don't know. I kind of want to keep that in there for a little bit longer and do this method for a bit. So, for a couple days, that's how it'll be before I add more. Thanks.